Hello, everyone. RV here, and today we're making my 2025 baseball playoff predictions. And ironically, I'm wearing a football jersey. I don't know why I wear the wrong sport jerseys the day I make predictions for a different sport, but it is what it is. So let's get started with the American League, where we have in the wild card round two divisional rivalry games. The Tigers and the Guardians, and the Red Sox and the Yankees. Let's start with the first that I said, the Tigers and the Guardians. The Guardians pulled off the most stunning and biggest comeback in MLB history to clinch the AL Central in Game 162 with a walk-off three-run home run by Brian Rocchio. The Tigers are reeling coming into the postseason. The Guardians are rolling coming into the postseason, and these two teams did meet in Cleveland this past week, with the Guardians taking 2 out of the 3. They also played in Detroit a few days before that, or maybe a week before that, I'm not sure. It was sometime this month, and Detroit got swept by Cleveland in their house. Every game's going to be in Cleveland. Progressive Field was rocking when that series was going on. And the Guardians, they played well. They're playing well. They're red hot. They're the hottest team in baseball right now, and normally that bodes well for a playoff run. So I think the Guardians will sweep the Tigers out of the playoffs. I think the Guardians win in 2. So then we move on to Red Sox Yankees. And this is a tough series because the Yankees have been red hot as well, but they've been beating up on the teams they should beat, like the Orioles and the Twins and the White Sox. Those kind of teams. The Red Sox have been playing playoff teams. They just beat the Tigers. They took 2 out of the 3 against Detroit to knock their way into the postseason for the first time in 4 years. And the Red Sox, when they played the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, they took the series for them, I'm pretty sure. When the Yankees came to Fenway, the Yankees took the series, which was more recently. So this series is going to be very hard to predict. I'm pretty sure it's going to go 3 games. I'd be shocked if it is a sweep for somebody. But it's really tough because the Yankees, they lost out of the division on a tie to the Blue Jays. And they've been really good recently, but so has the Red Sox. And, man, I don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be a really tough series, but I know these weren't the same teams 4 years ago and even 7 years ago when the Red Sox knocked the Yankees out both times, but the Red Sox, in recent history, when they faced the Yankees in the postseason, have gotten the better of them, and I think that's going to happen again. Well, I also wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees won. Like, this is going to be... I don't know who's going to win this series. I wouldn't be surprised if it's either team. I will be shocked if it's a sweep. But I'm going to go with Boston to get the job done on the road in New York in that hostile environment. They get it done in 3. So now let's move over to the National League wild card. And first off, we have the Reds and the Dodgers, and this is the first time the Dodgers are in the wild card round in this format. So it'd be under the old format, and that was when Chris Taylor hit a walk-off home run against the Cardinals. That was the last time they were in there, 2021. They're facing a young, up-and-coming Reds team that made it to the postseason off of a tiebreaker, ironically, against the Mets. And the Reds are a young, fun, and exciting team. And if I remember right, they did play LA in Great American Ballpark. Obviously, that's not where they're playing this series. They're going to Dodger Stadium. Um, and I believe the Reds took 2 out of 3, if I remember right. Not sure. I believe maybe the Dodgers won the series. I don't know. It was close. All 3 games, I believe, were close between those 3 because the Reds, they have great pitching. Offense can be spotty at times. Dodgers, we know, have both great offense and great pitching. But I don't know, man. This Reds team, they've been playing really good baseball recently. Both teams in Ohio have been playing really good baseball recently. It's a fun time to be an Ohio baseball fan. And I don't know. Last year, the Tigers, they beat the Astros in the first round. And Detroit, they had no playoff experience. None. The Astros obviously had a ton. Here, this is the same situation. 6 and the 3 seed. Dodgers have a ton of playoff experience. They just won the World Series. They're the defending champs. The Reds, nobody, not a single soul. I take that back. Brady Singer. Not a single soul besides Brady Singer. And maybe a few others in the bullpen. I don't know. There's got to be more than Brady Singer. Brady Singer's the only one I can think of. Maybe Nick Martinez, Emilio Pagan, maybe them as well. Not many. Just like the Tigers. Not many of their players have postseason experience. None of their star players, besides Emilio Pagan, possibly, besides Brady Singer, their pitchers, have playoff experience. Ellie De La Cruz. This is his first playoff series. Oh, Austin Hayes is on this team. He has playoff experience. So does Miguel Andujar. The more I think about it, the more I see people who have playoff experience. But yeah, Ellie De La Cruz, no playoff experience. Hunter Green, no playoff experience. Andrew Abbott, Tony Santillan, no playoff experience. Some of their main pieces have no playoff experience. And I think that's honestly going to bode well for the Reds because, as Nick Martinez said, you can't kill them. They also have Terry Francona, who probably should win National League Manager of the Year. I mean, I honestly didn't think the Reds were going to make the playoffs this year. I thought they were going to be just outside of it. Well, no, they just snuck in. And I think the Reds are going to pull the Tigers last year and beat the Dodgers in 3. I think the Dodgers will get a game, but I don't think they're going to win the series, honestly. Now, would I be shocked if they win the series? No, I would not be shocked. I honestly think that they probably will win the series, but I don't know. I can't count out the Reds. I think the Reds are going to beat them. I wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams won, just like the Red Sox and Yankees. And the next matchup I'll be talking about in a minute. But I'm going to go with an upset pick here and pick the Reds over the Dodgers. I think the Reds' magic is going to go for a little while longer. So the Reds advance to face the Phillies. So now we move to what I honestly think is going to be the best of the 4 wild card series. I'm not saying that because that's the one on main television, or national television, I should say. It's the Padres and the Cubs. The Cubs have not been in the playoffs in quite a while. It's been a while for the Cubs, but they're back. They just got Kyle Tucker back, which is nice, although they did lose Daniel Palencia recently, so that's unfortunate. Oh, and Kate Horton, who is probably going to win National League Rookie of the Year. That's a big blow for the Cubs. And then you got the Padres. And the Padres, they had a really good team last year. They couldn't beat the Dodgers. Luckily this year, their path wouldn't cross with their division rivals until the National League Championship Series. So that bodes well for San Diego. Um, the Cubs, as we know, have great offense. Their offense has been great all year. Kyle Tucker's been amazing in his first and hopefully not last season in on the north side. Seiya Suzuki's been awesome. Michael Busch has been amazing. Pete Crow Armstrong has been amazing. Nico Horner batted 300 this year. And Matt Shaw has been great with his glove. Dansby Swanson has been great with his glove. Ian Happ's been great with his glove. Like, this team has been really good. Even Carson Kelly is hitting. And then you got the rotation, which took a hit when they were in Japan at the beginning of the year. Justin Steele got hurt in Japan and was out for the season. Or very early on he got hurt, and he's done for the year. So now obviously losing Cade Horton stinks, because he's been a revelation this year as a rookie. Their bullpen has been really good. You know, Palencia before he got hurt, Brad Keller, Andrew Kittredge after they traded for him, Drew Pomerantz. Like, those guys have been really good. And then their starting rotation, you still have Shota. Colin Rea has been really good. I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd was an all-star this year. One of the most unexpected all-stars in the recent memory for me. And yeah, the Cubs pitching lab, it's worked this year for them. And so is their hitting. They are a really good team, and they kind of fell off a little bit. That's why they lost the division to the Brewers. But they're starting to pick it up again. And who knows? But they're having a really good Padres team coming into their house. Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts. They're all very experienced in the playoffs. Jackson Merrill, although hurt, has been really good. Luis Arraez, contact machine. He's there. Jake Cronenworth has been known for getting big hits in the playoffs. And Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn as reinforcements at the deadline is going to help. And then the pitching. Got Dylan Cease. He's been up and down this year. Going to need him to be rock solid in what could be his final postseason with San Diego. You got Michael King back. Nick Pivetta has been amazing. They signed him right before spring training. Or during spring training. It was so close to the season when they signed him. It's only a 1-year deal. And he's been their best pitcher this year as a starter. Their bullpen. Their bullpen. Oh my God, their bullpen. Ooh. Their bullpen is the best in baseball. You got Robert Suarez, Adrian Morejon, Mason Miller at the deadline. You got him. Who else am I forgetting? Jason Adam, who got hurt. But that's okay. You have Jeremiah Estrada, who has triple-digit strikeout numbers. That's insane. That's unheard of for a reliever. They could have had 5 all-star relievers. 5. That's wild. And sorry, I thought my mom was coming home. And who else do they got? You got Yuki Matsui, who's not that bad. Like, their bullpen is stacked. And if the Padres get a lead, like, late in the game, which I'm not saying the Cubs bullpen is bad. Their bullpen's pretty good too, but I think the Padres is just at another level, man. And their bats are just as good as the Cubs. I think they stack up just as much as the Cubs do. I think they both are evenly matched, honestly. But I just think the Padres bullpen is a teensy tiny bit better. A teensy tiny bit better. It's younger, and it's better, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be the difference here. This series will be really good. It'll be 3 games. And I think the Padres sneak it out in Game 3. I think the Padres advance to the National League Division Series. They beat the Cubs in 3 on the road. So, yeah, I have 3 out of the 4 road teams advancing into the division series. Which, how many, how many, how many did that last year? The Mets did, the Tigers did. Um, the Royals did. That's 3. And then, what was the last one for the National League? Oh, the Padres beat the Braves. Yeah, there was 3 last year. So it's not a crazy prediction, but it's possible. So now we'll go to the ALDS, and we'll start with the AL East division rivalry, the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. And these two teams just played in Toronto. And the Blue Jays swept them, I believe. Yeah, they did. They did sweep them. Yeah, they played them this week and they swept them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's either they swept them or the Red Sox took one. I don't know. They won the series. That's what I should say. They won the series. And the Blue Jays, they have a really good team. Most of their players have experience from the 2022 run where the Mariners shocked them in the wild card round. But they do have some veterans on their team. George Springer, Max Scherzer, Kevin Gausman, Chris Bassett, Jeff Hoffman, even though he's been rough this year. They all have experience in the playoffs. And for the most part, all those players are having good seasons. This Blue Jays team can hit. Like, they can hit. Vladdy, Bo Bichette, who will hopefully return when the ALDS starts. You got George Springer, who has turned back the clock and looked like Astros George Springer, which is what the Blue Jays need to go deep in a run. I think he's going to be very key for them. Ernie Clement has been amazing this year. Addison Barger's been amazing this year. Dalton Varsho has been amazing this year. But when the Blue Jays need a big hit the most, and it's not Vladdy, it's not Bo Bichette or George Springer, it's been one of the Blue Jays' other players. I shouldn't say other guys, even though that's how they refer to them. But it's been the Blue Jays' non-star players who have stepped up and delivered in the big moments. Like Dalton Varsho hit a grand slam against the Red Sox recently. But you know Canada is going to be rocking. The Rogers Center is going to be rocking when the Blue Jays come up there. I can just think of iconic postseason moments from the 2010s. You know, Bautista's home run, Edwin Encarnacion's walk-off home run against Baltimore. Those crowds were rocking, and this crowd's going to do the same. And the Blue Jays, they are a World Series contender. They've shocked me. I thought they were going to finish last in the AL East this year. They won it. They won it on a tiebreaker against New York. And there's something special about this Blue Jays team. I mean, the Red Sox aren't no slouch, you know. Bregman, Duran, Story, Garrett Crochet, Brian Bayo, Alex Bregman, Cedon Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu, Nathaniel Lowe, Carlos Narvaez. Like, they're no slouch. But Toronto, they won the division for a reason. And I think Toronto, the Red Sox, they have a lot of youth. And that's a good thing for the future. This year, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they have the team right now to win the World Series. I believe Toronto does, and I believe Toronto will win this series. So I'm going to say the Blue Jays win this series. Division series goes 5 games in 4. Blue Jays in 4, they advance to the LCS. Now we got the Mariners and the Guardians. And these are two teams that I really love to watch. I really love to watch the Mariners. I really love to watch the Guardians. I got to see them a lot this year. I think the Mariners, I called the most games for Seattle this year. They had a lot of one-score games. I think the most in the league. And The Mariners are here because their pitching is amazing. Cal Raleigh is having the best catcher season ever, and they bought the deadline. They went and got Eugenio Suarez and Josh Danner at the deadline. They delivered. Randy Arozarena is back to Randy Arozarena hitting standards. Julio Rodriguez has been great in the second half. Hell, even Dominic Canzone has been really good recently. So, yeah, I mean, this Mariners team, they are stacked, Brian Wu, best season ever. He's been the Mariners' best pitcher, starting pitcher this year. Logan Gilbert's been hit or miss. George Kirby's been hit or miss. Bryce Miller's been hit or miss. Luis Castillo, hit or miss. But, they still have a better pitching staff than the Guardians, honestly. Even though Cleveland has Gavin Williams, who's been good, Tanner Bybee, and others who I can't think of right now. But both their bullpens have been very good as well. Like, these two teams stack up against each other. And they've both been playing really good baseball recently. And Cleveland's bullpen, without Emmanuel Clase, has been carrying them when they've had a lead. Cade Smith, him being the closer, he's fit right in. And this is only his second season in the league. I've been this good. Shout out to Cade Smith. And they also got guys like Hunter Gaddis and Tim Herron in that bullpen, who are also really good. And you got the Mariners. Andres Munoz has been amazing this year. He can give you heart attacks at times, but whenever he gets in situations, he normally locks it down. You also got Carlos Vargas and Gabe Spire, and those are the big three in the Mariners bullpen. But Cleveland, for most of the year, has struggled to hit. The Mariners' offense last year struggled to hit. That's why they missed the playoffs. This year they're hitting, and this year they have a chance at the World Series. A legitimate chance. And Cleveland has a great team. I think they can hit against the Mariners. But I think the Mariners can stifle them a lot. I trust them. I think the Mariners can stifle the Guardians' bats more than the Guardians' pitchers can stuff the Mariners' bats. And that's why I think the Mariners are going to advance. So I have the Mariners advancing to the American League Championship Series to face the Blue Jays. Yes, the 1 and 2 seeds. They're the 1 and 2 seeds for a reason. Now, let's go to NLDS, where we got the Phillies and the Reds. And this is where the Reds' magic, I think, ends. I think they'll get a game from Philly at home. Not in Philly, but in Cincinnati. But I don't think they're going to beat the Phillies. The Phillies, they have a really good team again this year. Kyle Schwarber has been unreal. Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper. Trey Turner is Trey Turner. Hopefully he gets better soon. Brandon Marsh has been on fire recently. Harrison Bader has been one of the best deadline pickups this season. As well as Johan Duran. And then JT Realmuto is still fantastic on defense. Still have Alec Bohm. Bryson Stott is still there. Like, this team, it's the same team as the World Series team, just with some new faces who are contributing to the team really well. Bader, and Duran. Their starting pitching staff, yes, they don't have Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler's out for the year. But that's okay. Christopher Sanchez has stepped up. Wasn't an all-star this year, but he's going to be top 3 in the Cy Young voting. He's been amazing this year. Absolutely unbelievable. Ranger Suarez, amazing again. Hopefully they pay him. He's going to get paid. It's going to be by somebody. And then, who else do they have in the freaking rotation? Sanchez, Suarez. There's someone else. Who am I forgetting here? I'm forgetting somebody. Not Wheeler. I said him. Kidding me? How am I forgetting? Dude. Hang on. I'm forgetting a good arm in their bullpen. Or not in their starting rotation. Jesus Luzardo. There it is. Jesus Luzardo. He's been really good this year in his first season with Philly. And then Aaron Nola and Taijuan Walker haven't been the greatest. But that's okay. You have a really good top 3 even without Zach Wheeler. Obviously the Wheeler injury hurts, but you got 3 guys who can help you out in the postseason. So, their bullpen, they don't have Jose Alvarado, which stinks because he got popped for PEDs. He's not postseason eligible. But Johan Duran has picked up the slack. Orion Kirkering, he's been good for most of the year. Still have Matt Strahm. They have guys. They have guys on their team. They're built to make a run at the World Series. And yes, this is where their season ended last year. But I believe the Phillies will be better after the break than they were last year. And the Phillies will move on to the NLCS. So now we have another surprise team in the Brewers playing the Padres. And the Brewers having the best record at the end of baseball, I am very shocked by that. But then they have Bobby Uecker in the sky, so also not shocked at the same time. But the Brewers struggled at the start. Then they got hot in the middle of the season, like red hot. And as soon as they had that 14-game win streak where they didn't lose for 2 weeks, they've been playing 500 ball ever since, or maybe a little bit below 500. But still, up and down, up and down. They played the Padres last week, and the Padres took the series. They won 2 out of 3. So the series was very close for the most part. San Diego did get a beat down in one of the games. But the Brewers, them struggling, it worries me. And the Brandon Woodruff injury, it worries me. Them getting Trevor McGill back is massive. It is massive for their chances to go far this postseason. Even though they have Abner Uribe, who has also been very good this year, and Jared Kadick, I think them getting their top reliever back, it's perfect for them. Jacob Mizorowski might also be coming out of the bullpen, even though he struggled ever since he got his All-Star nod. He has really, really struggled. But the Brewers may need him to start ever since Woodruff went down, because they still don't have Quintana. He also got hurt. And their big 3 has been Freddie Peralta, Quinn Priester, who they acquired mid-season, has been unbelievable. And then here we go again, forgetting somebody. I know I am. Get somebody in the rotation, man. Maybe it is going to be Mizorowski. So, yeah. And then they have the same team basically as last year with some new faces. Caleb Durbin has been great. The rookie they got from the Yankees in the Devin Williams trade. Andrew Vaughn, who they traded with the White Sox for, because Aaron Savali was unhappy by getting moved to the bullpen. And Andrew Vaughn's been amazing. He's overtaken Rhys Hoskins as the everyday first baseman. Isaac Collins, the rookie out in the outfield, has been great. Sal Frelick has been great. Yelich has been great. Churio has been great. When he actually hits the ball, he strikes out a lot and swings a lot. Swings and misses a lot, which is concerning, especially against the bullpen of San Diego. Mason Miller, especially. Who else has been great? Bryce Turang has been really good. And you got Contreras. Had a kind of a down year after last year, but it was still pretty solid. I mean, not like last year, but still solid. So the Brewers, it hasn't been their big stars at times, but it's been sometimes the guys off the bench, sometimes the rookies. Like, it's been a different person every night, kind of like the Blue Jays. And that's why both the Blue Jays and the Brewers are the 1 seed in their respective leagues. But the Padres, I think, have a lot more bats that are better in this situation. And this is the Brewers we are talking about. The Brewers, they haven't won a postseason series since 2018, the year they made it to the National League Championship Series. They were 1 game away from making it to the World Series. The Padres almost beat the Dodgers last year. And they made their team way better than that 2024 team that almost beat the champions last year. Took them to 5 games in the DS, but lost. So, because of that, I do think this series will go to 5 games. This series should be really good if this happens between the Brewers and the Padres. But, honestly, I think San Diego's a sneaky team to go on a run. And I'm going to pick the Padres to make it to the NLCS. And the Brewers to get first rounded again. But they made it out of the wild card round, so at least they have that. But I think they get first rounded again. And the Padres go and face the Phillies in the NLCS, a rematch of 2022. However, there are some changes for this Padres team since that 2022 team. Obviously, they don't have Juan Soto, and they don't have Ha-Seong Kim. Phillies don't have Jeff Hoffman. They don't have Gene Segura. They don't have Noah Syndergaard. Obviously, out of those names, the Padres' names are the biggest. But the Padres, they didn't have Xander Bogaerts at the time. They didn't have Ryan O'Hearn, who's now an all-star. They didn't have a nearly 300 batting average Ramon Laureano on the team. They didn't have Mason Miller. They didn't have Adrian Morejon. They didn't have Jeremiah Straw. They didn't have the bullpen they have now. And the Phillies, they didn't have Christopher Sanchez. Like, there were some big names on these two teams that weren't on the 2022 team. So that should factor into a lot of what is going on here. And the Padres, they The Phillies cleaned them up in that series. But I think the Padres are honestly going to be playing with some momentum here. I think they're going to be playing with some momentum against the Phillies. And I think Fernando Tatis is going to have some special plays with his glove. I think he's going to have some special hits with his bat in this, especially in this round. And I think this series will go to 7. And it'll be really fun baseball to watch. But the team I have going into the World Series from the National League is the San Diego Padres. I think the Padres they have the team, they have the squad this year, I believe, to go all the way to the World Series out of the 5 spot. And my National League Championship Series MVP will be Fernando Tatis Jr. I think he will get it this year. And it'll be another heartbreaking loss for the Phillies in the playoffs in the National League Championship Series to an NL West team. Remember, 2023, Diamondbacks beat them in 7 in Philly. I think that'll happen again, but this time it is the Padres. So now we go to the ALCS where it's Toronto versus the Mariners. And this would be a very fun ALCS if this happened. These two teams are very even. They both have great offenses. They both have great pitching staffs. If there was a team where I had to give the advantage to on starting pitching, I'd give it to the Mariners. For bats, it's tough. It's really tough. I think I gotta say the Mariners, honestly. Although it's close. That's really close. Bullpens? The Mariners. The Mariners. So I'd say the Mariners have all 3. But I don't know. There's something that's telling me about this Blue Jays team, man. There's something that's telling me that they are different this year. There's things that are telling me the Mariners are different too. But I don't know. Someone tells me there's going to be some special baseball played in Canada. Some World Series baseball played in Canada. Like, I think that even though the Mariners, they have a great pitching staff, they have a great starting rotation, it can be hit or miss. The Blue Jays, they have veterans. They have guys who have been there and done that. And I think that's going to really help them out. It has really helped them out. They're the 1 seed for a reason. Scherzer, Bassett, Barrios. I'm forgetting somebody else. God damn it. Here we go again. 125 Blue Jays. Who is it? Oh, it's Shane Bieber. It's Shane Bieber. I forgot they got him. Yeah, they have Shane Bieber as well. But they need guys to get healthy, like Bassett, like Barrios, Bobichette. They need to get healthy. They need Jeff Hoffman to be Phillies Jeff Hoffman. And I don't know. It's just something where the Mariners, they have big names. They have big names. Big name bats like Cal Raleigh, Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor, Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena. But there's a thing about all 5 of those guys. They strike out a lot. they strike out a lot. Bo Bichette, he doesn't strike out a lot. He hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he hits bombs. He doesn't really strike out that much. Honestly, no. He can at times, but not as much as like the Mariners guys. I mean, geez. And then you got the guys who aren't as big of names as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette and Ernie Clement, Aston Barger, and Dalton Varsho, but they can hit. Like all three of them have been really good hitters and really good in the field. Alejandro Kirk has been a really good hitter. He almost batted 300 this year as a catcher. Like you don't see that too often. Catchers batting 300 or 60 home runs. I gotta give credit to Cal Raleigh whenever I can. But something about the Blue Jays, they seem to shine in the big moments. The Mariners, sure, the Dodgers aren't in the American League, but they had the Dodgers to end the regular season, and they did not rise up to the occasion. The Dodgers beat them pretty good. I mean, all the games were close, besides Sunday's game. But the Mariners, they had opportunities to beat the Dodgers in 2 of the 3 games, and they didn't. They got swept. So the Blue Jays have came through in those big series. They've beat up on the Blue Jays. They beat up on the Red Sox. They beat up on the Yankees. They beat up on the Tigers. At least I think, or maybe the Tigers beat them, but that's when Detroit was playing better. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, I feel like the Blue Jays are going to rise to the occasion, and the Mariners are not. The Mariners, I think, are not going to get much going on offense in this series. I think Toronto is going to come through and go to the World Series. I think the Blue Jays will face the Padres in the World Series. And my American League Championship Series MVP, it's going to be one of the older guys. I honestly believe it's going to be Max Scherzer. I think Max Scherzer is going to pitch 2 gems in this series. One in game 1 and then one in the closeout game, which would be game 6. So I think Max Scherzer gets it. So, World Series. Blue Jays, Padres. A 1 seed versus a really good wild card team. Have these 2 teams played each other? So yes, the Blue Jays swept the Padres all the way back in May. All the way back in May. So the Blue Jays have not faced this Padres team after the deadline. They have not played the new revamped Padres. And the Padres have not played the new revamped Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have made trades at the deadline. Louis Varland from the Twins. Ty France from the Twins. Shane Bieber. And then, I don't know if he'll play in this series, but it'll be a revenge game for Will Wagner. He got traded from Toronto to San Diego. So, this will be a really fun series. It'll be the first World Series for Vladdy and Fernando and Bichette, Merrill, Barger, Clement, Kirk. Like, it'd be the first World Series for a lot of really good players on both sides. And I honestly think this would be a really fun World Series to watch. It could be really close every single game. But I think both sides' big hitters are going to trade big blows. Like, I think Machado will hit well, Tatis will hit well and field well. Jackson Merrill steps up in the clutch every year, although that's just 1 year and this year. So 2, I guess. Um, Not much of a sample size for Merrill, but Guerrero Jr. steps up. Max Scherzer, Shane Bieber, Kevin Gausman at times, Dylan Cease at times for the Padres, Nick Pivetta, Michael King, Mason Miller. There's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be a lot of guys who the Blue Jays and Padres coaches and hitters will be focusing on. Hitters and pitchers will be focusing on. And I think it's gonna come down to who's non best player. So like they're non quote unquote big stars can have the big hits in the big moments. And the team that has had that all season long has been Toronto. And even though the Padres bullpen is amazing and the best bullpen in baseball, honestly, it should have a nickname, in my opinion. It's that good. I think the Blue Jays are just a bit better. And in 7 games at home, in a really fun, really close World Series, the best World Series we've seen since 2019, I'll say, because that was the last time I went 7, where Washington beat Houston. I'm going to say that this year's World Series champions in 7 games, defeating the San Diego Padres, is the Toronto Blue Jays. And World Series MVP will go to a man who not many people know outside of Canada. Unless you're a nerd like I am. And I think the man who will have the big hit in the biggest moment of the World Series, a go-ahead home run in Game 7, Addison Barger. I've really been excited to see Addison Barger play this year. He has broken out. He's been really good. He's been a big bat for them all year. He's been batting behind Vladdy and Bo Bichette all season long. And I believe he steps up in the big moment, delivers, crushes a home run out of Rogers Center into the Blue Jays bullpen. So maybe an Oppo home run. And the Blue Jays lock it down from there and they win the World Series. So that's my thoughts on the 2025 baseball playoffs. And I'm really excited for tomorrow. I can't wait. October baseball. It doesn't get any better than this. So thank you all for watching. Blue Jays are my prediction to win it all. Let's see if I'm right. See y'all later. RBL. Peace.